So my girlfriend Stacy and I are kind of obsessed with funny signs for some reason. I think it started in our neighborhood. There's this Oriental massage place, and it's in the back of an office building. So they have a big sign out front that says, "Excellent massages in the rear." So we were driving in South Africa from Cape Town to the Cape of Good Hope, and we see this sign with a big exclamation point, "Penguins." We're like, well, that is how we feel about penguins. But what does that sign mean? Then the next sign we saw says, exclamation point, "Golfers," which is not at all how we feel about golfers. But then we got the idea that this is where the penguins and the golfers cross the road, so we must have gone too far. So we turned around at the sign that said, "Baboons are wild animals, do not feed them." And we went back to this parking lot, which was basically empty, so we thought that wasn't the right place. But there was a turnstile and they were taking money, and like all good American tourists, we figured if they're taking money, there must be something to see. So we paid and we went down to Boulder Beach. And kind of like the original Planet of the Apes, big round spherical granite boulders and white sand, and there's supposed to be penguins. Just a couple little beach houses. And we have to climb over the boulders to go any way down the beach, and we're not athletes, either one of us, so we're scrambling over these boulders. Stacy said later it was the first time she played outside since she left Coldwater, Michigan when she was a little girl. So that was good, but finally we see one little penguin up on a rock, and he looks at us and he goes, and he jumps off the rock and he runs for it, and we chase it between the boulders, and we find it behind one of the boulders, and he hunched down like this, looking up like, "Can't you see him trying to get away from you?" But we took his picture anyway. We went a little further. And then a couple little guys came right out of the water, and they walked up to us, and they dried their tail feathers like that, and we're like, "Hey, what's up?" We're like, "We don't know, we hadn't really thought this through." But hi, nice to meet you. Went a little further, and then there was a big no trespassing sign, but we could see if you look past the sign, there were like 2,000 penguins over there. Not near us. But there were also like 200 tourists up on platforms taking their pictures and fighting with each other, so we were like, this is cool, we came to the right place, even though it's really not the right place. And we started back, and it was a little hairy on the way back because the tide was coming in, and then we were kind of stuck getting over these boulders, and at one point Stacy said, "Oh my God, we're gonna die." And I said, "We do know how to swim, so if the tide comes, swim around, but okay." And finally we got back to the front part of the beach, and this little old lady came out of one of the beach houses, and I said, "Hi, how's it going? How are you?" And she says, "Elderly." And I thought I heard her wrong, so I said, "Oh, how are you doing today?" And she said, "Very elderly." But somehow we started talking to her anyway, and it turned out her name was Grace, and that she lived up on the hill with her lazy son. And she came down to the beach house every day and had been down there every day for 50 years to take care of her beach house, except for a couple times when she went on trips. And even though they turned the beach into a state park, they still let her keep a little beach house, which was great. And I said, "Well, were the penguins always here?" And she said, "No, the penguins are here because of Bridget Bardot." And I said, I thought I didn't hear her again. I said, "You mean the French actress Bridget Bardot?" And she said, "Yes." She said, I can't do the accent. She had this great Afrikaner accent. She said, "Yes, apparently Bridget became very tired of men, but she never tired of the furry, cuddly little things. So she came to South Africa many years ago, and at that time we had a tradition that we would go out from Simonstown in the spring with cricket bats and axe handles out to Seal Island and club all the baby seals to death." But Bridget put a stop to all that, which was great, except without anyone left to call the pod, except the great whites. The seals took over the whole island, and the penguins were pushed into the sea. But fortunately, they came to Boulder Beach, and they've been here ever since. Well, at that point in the conversation, I had taken out a cigarette. I was going to light a cigarette, and she freaked out. She's like, "You can't smoke on the beach. It's completely against the law." And I'm like, I'm sorry. I put it away. She's like, "You know, the only good thing that the government in South Africa ever did when they changed the government was they outlawed smoking on the beach." And I'm like, "You mean like the anti-apartheid government?" The government that let you keep your stupid beach house? So kind of discombobulated from that, we wandered back to the parking lot, And there was a sign that said, please check under your vehicle for penguins before you pull out. But I'm going to have to tell you, I was a little out of it at that point, and I did not look under the vehicle. But there were no bumps and there were no bumps. So I feel fairly confident in saying no penguins were harmed in the making of this story. Thank you.